Hello everyone. I declare the June 22nd, 2026 ordinary meeting open at 6:09. And sorry for the delay, we have quite a few people in the gallery. Welcome to all the people in the gallery, councillors and those online. The public is advised that it is council policy to record the proceedings of meetings of council on digital media to assist in the preparation of minutes and to ensure that a true and accurate account of debate and discussion of meetings is available. This audio recording is authorised by the Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulation 2025. Acknowledgement of country. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Tomagena people, and pay our respects to those that have passed before us, their history and their culture. Record of attendance. We have an apology from Mayor Dunyam. Do I need to read that one out? Not really. Yeah. And then we've got a recommendation there for confirmation of minutes. Do I have a mover?
I'll second that. Madam Deputy.
Just let me grab my little bearings here. 1 and 2. Okay. Any corrections to the minutes are to be identified and agreed at this point prior to taking a vote. Are there any corrections that need to be done? No. I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Declarations of interest. Councillors, any declarations of interest? Staff?
Yes, I declare an interest in items 20.2 and 20.3 enclosed, and I will leave the meeting.
Okay. So we'll move on to councillor announcements. There's Neil from the Mayor. We've got the Mayor's communications. There's Neil reports by delegates. Oh, sorry. Okay, we've got a recommendation there for the Mayor's communications. Can I have a mover, please? Okay, we'll go Councillor
Second that.
Roberts.
Yep.
And Councillor Bramage. Anybody need to ask any questions?
I just want to make a comment, not in regards to these communications, but obviously people would have seen Mayor Dunyam in the paper today, and I just want to congratulate her on her time in local government and thank her for her contributions.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So,
The vote.
yeah, I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. We've got a notification of council workshops. We've got a recommendation there. Do I have a mover?
So moved.
Councillor Roberts.
I'll second.
Second, Johnson. Any questions or comments? No. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously again. So we're moving to public questions. We've got some written statements or questions there. Mr. McErlin, EV charges and Christmas decorations, and we've got the officer's response. So I'm just going to read our statement before public questions and statements. The Council encourages community participation in its meetings through the opportunity for public questions and statements. Consistent with Council's core values, councillors and staff strive to ensure all people are treated with respect and integrity. We expect our residents and ratepayers to apply similar standards in their dealings with Council. As Mayor, it is my responsibility to maintain the orderly conduct of Council meetings and to ensure that the meeting is conducted in accordance with the Council meeting procedures. This includes determining whether a question or statement is out of order due to the use of offensive, objectionable or defamatory expressions. In particular, the Council meeting procedures relating to public questions and statements require that there is a time limit of 3 minutes per person to ask questions. A maximum of 3 questions may be asked per person. Any parts to questions are considered questions. All questions to be asked before a response is provided. Once a question is answered, there is to be no debate on that question. Public statements are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. There is to be no questions or discussions related to a statement. I ask members of the public to show proper consideration and courtesy in their comments. Okay. So I'm just going to go off the top because there is quite a few. So there is no real order, but only off the top. So I'll have Miss Foster. Would you come forward?
Deputy Mayor and councillors, thank you for the opportunity to address the council. My name is Chloe Foster and I rise tonight as a local ratepayer, resident of the municipality and an executive member of Business Northwest. I'm here to seek council support, not for funding, but for facilitation assistance on an issue that's increasingly concerning local business, our community members and families, youth crime and antisocial behaviour within the Wynyard CBD and surrounding areas. I've spoken with several business owners who have shared their concerns about vandalism and theft, aggressive behaviours, and the impact that this is having on staff confidence, customer experience, and perceptions for locals about their safety in our town. This is not to blame the young people. It's about recognising that when these issues emerge, the most effective solutions come from appropriate support. This issue is multifaceted and it will be an ongoing process. I propose that Waratah Wynyard Council endorse my facilitation of a roundtable at first in collaboration with Business Northwest to discuss ongoing issues surrounding youth crime and antisocial behaviour in the CBD and surrounds. I would like to ask for support in providing a meeting space to facilitate this and perhaps the presence of Mayor Mary Dunningham or Deputy Mayor Celisa Edwards. I will briefly detail a case study from our neighbouring municipality. The Burnie City Council had significant issues with youth crime 2 years ago in their CBD, and it had an immense impact on retailers and our community members. The behaviour consisted of violence and aggression, vandalism, damaging property, stealing, aggressive fighting, etc. In one circumstance, Mount Street was actually closed to apprehend offenders. These are kids. A youth worker at a local high school, Giovanna Simpson at the time, who was also a member of council, knew these students and worked with the principals of the schools to combat this behaviour. It was decided that they would engage with council to facilitate a roundtable discussion with youth services and business leaders to gather insight as to the effects and how the services could work together to help engage with these young people. The roundtable was established by sending letters of invitation to participate, and some of these participants included Tasmania Police, high school principals and assistant principals from both the private and public schools, youth workers, chaplains, retailers, Youth, Family and Community Connections, Headspace, local church groups, Anglicare, Life Without Barriers, Burnie Community House, and importantly, child and adolescents mental health services. At the initial meeting, each stakeholder was able to give an account of how the effects had been on them, and some of the key takeaways were they were genuinely concerned for their staff safety. Daily revenues dropped, insurance claims grew due to vandalism, and consumers, our general public, were scared to shop and participate in town. As a result, this group worked on ways that they could combat this antisocial behaviour, and it was decided that Tasmania Police would increase the number of officers in the CBD during the time when those antisocial behaviours increased. A youth worker, Giovanna Simpson, would work with the YFCC to arrange...
Time's gone 3 minutes. Can you just kind of round
Can
it up?
I summarise the actual results of this? So the results, the council and participants brought these young people together. They gave them pizza and things to sort of give them a hook to attend, but then they actually worked with the appropriate support caretakers, so counsellors, drug and alcohol counsellors, youth workers. They spoke to them as people to find out the why. Most of the time they were just bored or because they could and because they didn't have adequate supports at home or surrounding them. So it wasn't just the police presence that made community feel safe. It was about actually engaging with these children and give them adequate support and, positive outreach with members of their community and trusted adults. I have spoken with the Police Minister, Felix Ellis, and advocated for increased police presence in our town while this is going on. But I think the Burnie experience really demonstrates how community engagement and working together with these children can actually have really positive effects for their future pathways in life as well. So I believe if we can pull the right people together, listen and work collaboratively, then and address these concerns proactively before it escalates further, because I'm seeing some really concerning rhetoric online and I'm actually worried. So my question is, I respectfully ask Council to consider facilitating this roundtable discussion and to lead to a coordinated community response. Sorry, way over time.
That's okay. It's an important issue. So, and then you're next.
Yes. I'm just speaking to item 18.1, Councillor Hyland's Waratah Community Board motion. Thank you for the opportunity to rise. The Waratah Community Board has over many years demonstrated the value of local people working collaboratively to identify community priorities and help deliver outcomes that benefit the township. The achievements outlined in the report speak for themselves. They reflect significant contribution by volunteers who care deeply about their community. Importantly, this motion is not seeking to alter Council's strategic direction, rather it seeks to reaffirm the support of a community body that already plays a recognised role under the community plan, encourage adherence and agreed to governance arrangements, and support a respectful and constructive relationship between Council and the Board moving forward. Strong communities are built on trust, communication and collaboration, where concerns or misunderstandings can exist, but then they are best resolved through open dialogue and a commitment to working together. I believe this motion provides an opportunity to acknowledge that valuable contribution of the Waratah Community Board while reinforcing a positive pathway forward for both Council and the community that it serves. And for those reasons, I support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hutchinson. Got a statement and 3 questions.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Well, Councillor Hyland was missing me, so I thought I'd come back for another round. Mayor Dunham must have noticed I was coming, so unfortunately she can't be here tonight to answer my questions, but if we could take them on notice, that'd be great. And I will actually just rephrase the question slightly, just to direct it at you as well, Deputy Mayor. So my first question is related to our valued mining industries. So in the past 5 financial years, including 2025 to 2026, what are the total costs and benefits to Council arising from the operation of the Grange Resources Savage River Mine, including Council's assessment of the overall net financial and economic impact of the mine on the municipality, including whether the benefits received adequately offset the costs and impacts borne by the Council? Question number 2 is for the Mayor and yourself, Deputy Mayor, if you could have a response tonight, that'd be great. On what date did you personally first become aware of community concerns about silica dust or respirable crystalline silica dust being emitted from or escaping the site boundaries of the Tasmanian Advanced Mineral Silica Processing Facility located at Stang's Road, Wynyard? And the third question is, Mayor and Deputy Mayor, what actions have you personally taken to direct Council senior management regarding these community concerns of silica dust and or respirable crystalline silica being emitted or escaping TAM's site boundaries? And when did you take these actions?
We'll take, happy for question 1 to go on notice. Yep. Question 2, yeah, we'll take those on notice and just check any dates to cross-check those, if that's okay.
So you can't give a response to when you personally became aware?
No,
You don't know?
Can't remember dates without having a look at it.
And you don't know what actions you've taken in relation to that?
No, we'll just take that on notice.
May I answer?
No.
I come for the questions, but I stay for the debate, so.
No, we'll have no questions around the table. Thank you, Councillor Brumage.
All right, I'll just move on to the statement that I had to contribute. So, as some of you might know, I've got some experience in the education sector.
But I was excited to see one of the values of this council is learning, which on the website it states, "We are a learning organisation. We embrace opportunities for continuous improvement and innovation." So I think that's a pretty fantastic attitude to have. It's pretty progressive and pretty open-minded. I also wanted to thank Mayor Duniam for her service and her contributions to the council for more than 20 years. I don't want to tell anything that people don't already know, but Dr. Mary Duniam was elected to the Waratah Wynyard Council in October 2005, elected to Deputy Mayor in 2014 and became Mayor of the Council in 2022. At the time of Mayor Duniam's election, Paul West was the General Manager. Councillor Hyland was elected as Mayor and Councillor in October 2005. Councillor Bramich, you were again elected as Councillor since first being elected in 1999. Deputy Mayor Edwards, Councillor Courtney, you were both first elected in 2018. And Councillor Raw, Councillor Johnson and Councillor Roberts, you're all elected in 2022. I didn't come here to give Councillor Hyland another history lesson, but just to refresh your obligations as not only a council, but as individual councillors. So under the Local Government Act, in Section 20, Clause 1A and 1B, the council's functions are to provide for the health, safety and welfare of the community and to represent and promote the interests of the community. Under Section 28 of the same Act, Clause 1A, 1B and 1C describe what the functions of an individual councillor are. 1A, to represent the community. 1B, to act in the best interests of the community. And 1C, to facilitate communication by the council with the community. So I just want to bring to your attention, and hopefully councillors are across some of this, the Tasmanian Advanced Minerals Processing Facility was approved in February 2006. It's been operating since 2007. It was approved in April 2019 for a facility increase in production level. And I will have a question on notice that I'll submit at a later date, just around why this wasn't included in the meeting minutes and where the decision was made. If it was made in open or closed council. But I recognise that it's a bit of a historical request, so I'll put that on notice.
Your time is nearly ready to run out.
Yes, thank you. Almost there. All of this was under all of the councillors here's watch. So it's your duty to ensure that this council is performing its functions in relation to the permit approval. Understand that the EPA does have the majority of responsibilities and also the TAM facility as well. But councillors, you're ultimately accountable for your actions and the buck stops with the mayor. It's not good enough to just ride off into the sunset. And I expect that you all brief yourself on these matters and show some leadership. That's why you were elected. So I urge all councillors to make yourself aware of the recent report by GTEx. I urge you to reach out to the person that commissioned the report and find out more information. As a ratepayer, I demand that you inform yourself on these matters and keep council transparent and accountable. I encourage you to ask questions of your senior management and of your mayor on the public record, not behind closed doors. And as elected representatives, you're elected to represent a council that is charged with providing for the health, safety and welfare of the community. So you must ensure that the community's health is your priority. You are accountable for your actions, whether or not you stand for re-election or not. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to
there's no
comment
debate.
to you on that.
Bramage. Okay.
Sorry.
Mr. McGurlin, would you like to come forward?
All right.
Couple of statements to make. First of all, the one from Councillor Johnson about footpath conditions between Artscape and Saunders Street Clinic. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Edwards and councillors. I'm speaking today as a resident and ratepayer relating to Councillor Johnson's motion regarding the footpath conditions between Artscape and Saunders Street Clinic. I commend Michael for bringing this to council, as this is one of many examples of where we need to consider the community when making decisions that may on face value appear to be just exercise in applying policy. The officer's response is very succinct and follows council's policy, with the application of adopted service level documents that were approved by yourselves. However, we need to think outside the box and apply a more practical solution to what is a matter raised by Councillor Johnson and witnessed firsthand by many residents and community utilising the Saunders Street Clinic and Artscape. The pathway is used by a lot of community who may not be steady on their feet or just want to walk on a dry and even surface. While the condition may not meet the current criteria for repair or maintenance, maybe this is an example of a simple reseal of the section from 37 to 45 Jackson Street. This is an area that has significant traffic of pedestrians due to the proximity of the Saunders Street Clinic. I ask that Council consider just a simple repair to make it easier for the community to walk along an even surface without puddles. I would encourage Council to look at other areas where public make use of facilities such as Saunders Street Clinic that egress in and out is made comfortable for those who are not so steady on their feet. All right. Second one is relating to item 10.1, annual plan and budget estimates. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Edwards and councillors. I'm speaking today as a resident and ratepayer relating to the annual plan and budget estimates for 2026-27. I commend council on setting a rate that is reasonable in this current climate and keeps following the council's FMS plan in the budgeting process. The only observation is more from an economic business perspective. Having just spent the weekend in Strawn running one of the Illuminate the Coast projects, make sure you come to the one at Table Cape in a few weeks' time. I noticed a few closed businesses that have been on the market for quite a while in Strawn. I also noticed that a number of visitors staying in economic activity was down compared to last year. We ran the show last year, so we know. This is not unique to the West Coast. In fact, it is an ongoing trend in regional Australia, with many retail and hospitality businesses finding it a challenging year, and the year ahead does not look much better. One just needs to walk around the CBD of most towns along the coast and see the reappearance of empty shops and the number of businesses for sale. While it may be cyclical now, it is looking like a deeper cycle has started. So you ask, what could council do when setting rates? Maybe like your colleagues in Burnie, maybe consider a rate differential to support our CBD and urban businesses that are finding it hard going. A rate rise of 4.9% may not seem too much to the average person, but for a small business is one of many rate financial increases that commence from 1 July. We have a wage increase as determined by Fair Work of between 4.75% and 6%, depending on your award structure. That will in turn increase super payments by that amount and also have a knock-on effect to workers' comp insurance. Combined with the implementation of payday super, this will cause a significant cash flow impost on most businesses as they adjust to the new payment cycles and work through the challenges of rising costs. Most small businesses will be looking at an increase of labour costs of 9% when all of these costs are factored in. These costs will be, for some businesses, a rental increase combined as well as the rates are passed on. Just about finished. With no doubt increased by Taswater and likely Aurora Energy and our insurance, resulting in a significant margin hit in the challenging climate. This may cause several business owners to reconsider their operation, and particularly if renting premises, to look at the viability of continuing to trade. I ask Council to consider some options for rate adjustment or lessening the burden on many of our small business owners to keep the towns of Waratah Wynyard full of economic activity. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ewington.
I shall start with the statement, Madam Chair.
Beautiful, thank you.
Accessibility Infrastructure Review, Tulip Festival 2025. Accessibility, parking, pathways, store layout and crowd management. Executive summary. The report outlines accessibility and infrastructure concerns identified during the 2025 Chula Festival. While the event attracted a large number of visitors and was a successful community celebration, several issues affected accessibility, pedestrian movement and other experiences. The primary concerns relate to disability parking, accessibility transport, pathway arrangements, pathway design, market stall accessibility and crowd flow management. Addressing these matters will improve safety, accessibility and visitor satisfaction in the future festivals. Accessibility, park and transport. 1. Community centre parking. The community centre parking area designated for people with disabilities do not comply with current Australian standards, requiring accessibility parking bay dimensions and access requirements. Issues identified. Disability parking bays are not correctly sized to Australian standards, limited accessibility for wheelchair users transferring from vehicles, insufficient access aisles for mobility equipment. Recommendation: review the redesign accessibility parking areas to ensure full compliance with Australian standards for accessible parking facilities. Disability drop-off facilities. No dedicated disability drop-off zones were available within the central business district to allow people with disabilities to access the event. Issues identified: no designated drop-off point close to the event entrance, increased traffic distance for patrons and with mobility limitations, reduced accessibility for wheelchair users and elderly visitors. Recommendation: establish clearly marked designated drop-off pick-up zones within close proximity to the event to entry points. Frederick Street Parking Transport. The Frederick Street parking area used by festival patrons were not suitable for accessibility parking for wheelchair transfer to shuttle buses. Issues identified: inadequate accessibility parking facilities, no delegated wheelchair transfer area, no designated boarding point for accessibility bus transport. Recommendation: provide accessible parking bays for designated wheelchair transfer areas and accessible bus boarding area zone at all remote parking locations. Pathway accessibility. Access to the Guthries Gardens. Several obstacles were along the pathway to Guthries Garden, creating accessibility challenges. Issues identified: materials and equipment placed on pathway reduce safe access. Safe conditions create difficulties for wheelchair users and people using modified aids. Recommendations: maintain good, clear, unobstructed pathways and conduct accessibility inspections before the event.
Your time's up, but just if you can quickly finish, that'll be great, Mr. Ewington.
We've got a written copy of it, so
Yeah.
we've got everything.
Just
Well,
round
I'd
it up.
like to tell the general public, Madam Chairman,
Yeah, I just said to round it up.
Yeah, be considered.
I can't round it up, I'll bring it up next meeting. Question 1, 2 and 3. Northwest Regional Officer Managing 16718 Bass High Wynyard, landowner Miss Docker. The 2026-2027 growing season has now commenced for the slender thistle and ragwort. The seed has germinated and is growing well. Has the North NRM officer created the management plan for 16718 Bass High Wynyard in accordance with the Waratah Wynyard Council Reed Management Policy? This issue was first raised with the Council in December 2025, and due to the serious nature of the weak control of the Waratah Wynyard farming community, I would be of the view it would be a major importance. Ragwort can generate approximately 250,000 seed per plant and can spread aggressively within the community. As stated, I believe the previous 2025-26 season has been poorly managed by the NRM officer of the Waratah Wynyard Council, now poses a huge risk to the local community, eliminates the efforts that have made to try and eradicate these weeds. As there are several properties that may no effort, particularly the property stated above. I am of the understanding that the policy and procedures are put in place to eliminate this. Upon contacting Biosecurity, I was informed that NRM officer employed at Waratah Council could not contact the landowner. Ms. Docker has now passed from Ms. Docker has the problem has been passed to the Biosecurity's manager. I'm of understanding that the NRM officer employed by local council will be fully trained to follow through these matters, and if communication is not possible, the NRM officer has the power to employ a contractor to enter the property and spray the weeds. And on completion, the owner is to charge for the service provided by security. Can I please have evidence that the correct steps have been taken and every effort has been made to produce and manage a plan with the landowner? Can you please provide evidence of the process involved so we can eliminate future outbreaks of sneeze, thistle and ragwort? I feel once again the council has wiped their hands of these issues of weed management within the community of Wynyard. In reference to March 26 council minutes, it is shown that NRM officer has now closed this matter with the council reference number 2026 000178. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ewington, and we'll take your questions on notice.
Thank you.
Okay. Well now, oh, sorry. Mr. Peach, would you like to come forward?
Thank you, Mr. Ewington.
Good evening all.
Good evening.
I speak on behalf of Zero Ronald Crescent Public Open Space, which we've moved into in your lovely district only a few months ago, and we're very disappointed that you people have decided that you might want to sell. So my question is, I wish to draw to your attention that in your long-term plan, you have a goal to include and retain public open spaces. Once lost, this can never be replaced. Why has your decision changed, please? Okay, question number 2. The Tasmanian Government Planning Scheme, which implements uniform open spaces and zones to help councils develop recreational plans, has just spent $4.9 million. For residents in the Somerset, Waratah Wynyard area, several specific open space strategies are being rolled out. Why does your council not have the same objective for the Ronald Crescent public open space come playground? And my last question, please, is I ask you, please, what is your reason for wanting to sell?
Thank you, Mr. Peach. We'll just have to take those on notice to give you the right information.
Okay. I thank you all for listening to the reasons why Ronald Crescent Open Space should not be disposed of and sold to allow it to be enjoyed and appreciated by all. I trust I have provided valid evidence by supported by the community, and I did a 56 mail drop, 60 mail drop, and I got 50 people who signed a petition to objecting to that, including people, the resident here tonight who's been in the district for some 14 years, and we all appreciate that we've got a nice little open space which is conducive to what I consider is a village, which is what we live in. My last thing I will just ask you, please, is how do we find out what your decision is, please?
Yes, it'll be in the minutes at following the meeting when the meeting's been, the minutes or the meeting has been, everything all put together, and then it'll be put out to the public
Thank you.
to follow up.
Thank you very much, one and all, and thank you for my family representing me and a resident of the district. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peach. So move on to 6.0 is petitions. 6.11, M Peach proposed for sale of 0 Roland Crescent, Somerset. We have a recommendation there. Do I have a mover of that motion?
Seconded.
Councillor Courtney and
Second that.
Councillor Roberts. Councillor Courtney, would you like to speak?
No, we accept the petition. Yep.
Any other?
Well, look, I don't speak on behalf of council. As a councillor, I'm not the mayor, so I don't speak on behalf of council, nor do I speak on behalf of operations, but I can answer a couple of those questions if you would like. As a part of that strategy, the same thing's happened in Wynyard as well, whereas because we spent so much money building the foreshore park down at East Wynyard that we actually sold the land. There was a little park in Martin Street. We actually took that park down as well and sold that land to housing for people in need for housing. So because we've spent $1.6 million down at the foreshore, down at Somerset at the Surf Club for an all abilities playground, as a part of that, we've looked at the best ways to utilise the other land. Now, the equipment down there was mouldy. We've seen the photos. We had members of the public report on that to us, and our staff have reported that to us. So as a part of that, we're kind of in a spot at the moment where we're consolidating a lot of these smaller parks and creating bigger parks. So between Waratah Wynyard and, between Wynyard and Somerset in Waratah Wynyard, it's about $2.5 million we've spent on parks between the All Abilities Playground and the Foreshore Park at Wynyard. So as a part of that, we're releasing some of the land back to hopefully housing for people in need.
Can I respond to that?
No, sorry.
No, apparently not. So I'm so sorry. I acknowledge the petition. I acknowledge the seriousness of it. I think Ronald Crescent's a beautiful place. Somerset's lovely, and I understand which park that is as well, and I understand. So I will allow council to have an official response to you guys, and I will see that myself, and I just thought I would answer that question in regards to it's a part of that strategy really is to consolidate some of those properties and actually invest in particular areas and then release some of the land hopefully for housing for people in need.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Roberts, can you in future go through me but not speak to the gallery just so that we give them the right information?
Deserved an answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I just want to put the vote. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Yep. Carried unanimously. Leave that thing. Okay, so we're going to move into the Planning Authority now, and that opens at 6:47. So we've got no public questions without notice, no public statements. So now we'll move into 7.3. We have a recommendation there that point 1, in accordance with S40, I'll read out the top first, application for planning scheme amendment PSA 2/2026 for 1 Mackenzie Drive, Somerset, and proposed storage and vehicle parking area, DA 46/2026. We have a recommendation there that council, in accordance with S40 DA of the Land Use Planning and Approvals Act 1993, initiates a planning scheme amendment PSA 2/2025 to modify the general residential zone use table for land at 1 Mackenzie Drive, Somerset, to include storage, vehicle parking and manufacturing and processing as a discretionary uses, with the qualification that manufacturing and processing use must be for vehicle parking and storage associated with adjacent manufacturing and processing use. Do I have a mover for that motion? Councillor Roberts, a seconder. Johnson, Councillor Johnson. Okay, Councillor Roberts.
Well, just exactly in the officer's comment that the proposal involves suitable use of a historically underutilised lot within an existing serviced area. So the land's traditionally flood zone as well, etc. So it'll be used for parking and storage, and so it's actually a great way to utilise land that can't be used for much else. So I find that it's actually a great DA, and we hope to see more parking, more manufacturing, more employees, more economy. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Johnson, do you like to speak?
It'll just free up the area of the front facade of say the engineering company and the Seabrook Hotel. It'll take a fair bit of traffic flow and bring it round. I think there's 73 car parking spaces going to be available in that little spot. And as Councillor Roberts said, it is a bit of a flood zone anyway. Yeah, so, yeah.
Any speakers against the motion? Or any more speakers for the motion? No. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Planning meeting is now closed at 6:50 and will reopen at 6:50. So I've got matters raised by councillors there. We've got Councillor Johnson, we've got your footpath question and your officer's response, quite a big response there. And then we have Councillor Raw, your no spray register and your the officer's response there as well. So now we'll move into councillor questions without notice. Councillor Courtney.
Two quick ones. One, I think we've already acknowledged. I'd like that report from Lisa handed to the councillors, because we did have a presentation on the reproduction of the wedge-tailed eagles in our area, and there was information that was given that I wanted to quantify was correct. She's given us more information and far more comprehensive, so I'd like to go back over it because I am concerned with some of the findings, so if we could bring that to a workshop. The other thing is I did have a water security motion that I was proposing, but I would actually, given some of the conversations lately, like to bring it back to council as a discussion on potential either a moratorium on AI centres until we know the energy implications, or a potential planning scheme amendment. So I'd like to talk to my fellow councillors about the concerns I've got in that area and what we would like to do as a council, given that the three centres that are being approved are going to take a fifth of the state's electricity. I think this is something that we need to look at before the horse is bolted and they're built and we've got no control over it. So I'd like to bring that for discussion if we could.
Through you, Matt, through a workshop, you're clarifying?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions without notice? Councillor Johnson.
Just a couple. Just to Mr. Summers, I'd like to just our CTV, given the bit of shenanigans around town at the moment, have we got adequate CTV cameras in our little community?
I'm happy
Through you, Deputy Mayor, I might throw that to the Director of Corporate Services who...
through you, Mayor, I can answer that one. We've just completed a big project with Lagat on integrating all of our CCTV, or most of our CCTVs across the municipal area with other neighbouring councils. So I think 23 out of the 29 councils participated in the project. That's now come to conclusion and we're done, which also includes an MOU with the police, and they've got direct access to that CCTV. So we now don't have to move things around, that they've got direct access to that. So I'm confident we've got, in the general areas, we've got enough CCTV to cover what we need to. There might be some different little spots that we might need to be looking at with other things that are happening, but most of all, it's all done. We've just actually done a big project. It was like a $4 million state funded project to update the CCTVs.
And the second one is, I was wondering if we could workshop at policies and procedures on our own contractors giving jobs in our own community rather than outsourcing from different regions. I think our own community here, there are also contractors missing out on jobs that they could be doing in here, and it seems to be that there's been a few outsourcings in other regions. So I was wondering if we could workshop that and really, tidy it up a bit, please. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just quickly, in regards to following up with Councillor Johnston there, we really should probably get it out to the community about how to use Tender Link, which is local government's actual tender setup. So where there's a designated website to put in for tenders for local government, and not just ours, but all local government councils in Tasmania. It's called Tender Link, and we should probably workshop with some local contractors on how to use it. And so, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just a quick one. Elmer Fagan, I believe the question was posed before, a three-phase power plug so that all government X-ray vans can access it. That's the only thing that stops them from going to Waratah, and I don't believe Waratah should miss out on that for the cost of a simple three-phase plug.
Talking through you, Mayor, the things like the breast screen van.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions?
Just briefly,
Councillor Bromwich?
and Deputy, I think if council look back through their records, there's a policy in place where they employ local contractors,
Prioritised.
even if the price is a little bit dearer.
Yeah.
Like, that's got a policy that's been in place for 20 years probably.
Did you have a question or you're just saying?
Oh,
Do people know? Do people know that we have a policy?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that one.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, so I'm going to ask some questions here and I know they'll be taken on notice. When will the new digital scoreboard be installed at the Wynyard Football Club? I had a resident stop by today and where they were sitting they can't see the scoreboard. And what he was saying, there's a new one awaiting to be installed. So he was just wondering when that would be installed. And my second question is to do with Dart Street. I think that's Dart Street. That goes down the side of Bruce's through to Walker Street. Is Dart Street on the footpath list to be done, and when, if so? And my reason is, with the new subdivision, a lot more people are walking along Walker Street into Dart Street to go to the Coastal Parkway and the cafe there. A police officer asked me this question as he was driving down Dart Street and there was a parent pushing her pram in the middle of the road as there was nowhere for them to push their pram along the side of the road. Did council have any immediate action in this space? And after doing a traffic assessment in this area for the footpaths or along to do with Bruce's and the Old Bass Highway, I just thought it's a bit of a safety concern in that area. And my third question, can council help facilitate with what Ms Foster has brought to council tonight with a building space and with engaging businesses, I've put community and relevant stakeholders to bring a solution, outcomes and engagement in this space to work alongside with everyone. Okay, so we're now moving on to notice of motion. And that is a correction in the minutes, isn't it? So that is
9.1, not 18.
9.1, that is. Okay, so Councillor Hyland, would you like to
Yeah, thanks.
move? And we need a seconder before you speak to it. So would you like to move?
I'll second it.
Okay, you may speak to the motion.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry, I didn't read out what it was. So if you can read out what you're doing, that would be great.
Yeah, it's just to reconfirm council support for the Waratah Community Board. Point 1, point 2 confirms that the rules per the Waratah Community Board Charter shall be followed by council and the Waratah Community Board, that any changes to the charter should be collaboratively agreed between council and the community board. And point 3 supports a constructive resolution process between council and the board to address concerns raised, clarifying the matters in question and rebuild a respectful, transparent and productive working relationship. I suppose
I've got a fair bit of authority on speaking on what happens in Waratah and what's happened over the years. We have identified what the board has done there over the past 10 years. It's been a long process, and it's been a very worthwhile project. And probably one of the things that I would point out is having been there 15, 20 years ago when all this really commenced way back then, and the difference now in the community spirit is just unbelievable, the way it's transformed. And it can be noted very clearly in what's happening now with particularly with the wood chopping carnival, probably one of the best in the state. And it's just the fact that all the groups now, when there's something happening in town, they all work together, like they all get behind it. Don't matter the day, the weather, whatever. And it's just a good thing. They just do their stuff. And I think from now on, if we just sort of give them the assistance they need and work through that, probably what I would ask, if we could list in the next workshop, just to touch on this point 3, which is still sort of hanging in the air a little bit. There's a few things that need clearing up there, and I think between the council and the board, we can do that quite successfully. But we can just update councillors on that. But apart from that, just thank the councillors again for their support. And there has been, don't worry, a lot of water under the bridge since I last did a confirmation, so it just pays to keep it up to date. Thank you.
Councillor Bramage, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, look, I fully support it. And I was on council along with 2 or 3 others here when this board was put together. And it was so good and brought the community in. So this model was took all over Australia. And as far as I know, it got a good report. So I guess why fix something that's not broken? Let's just let it go like it is. And I think, look, there'll be good things. If staff go back there and the board back there, they're not always going to agree. That's natural. But I'm sure that we can all work together and keep this board going. And just because the board wants something, it doesn't mean council's got to bend over and give it to them. But the ideas coming from are really great. So I fully support it.
Thank you, Councillor Bramage. Any speakers against the motion?
I've got a question.
Yes.
When's the current term run out?
2028. They're in the first year of a 3-year term.
Then can I ask why we're doing a 3-year commitment? We're only in the first year of a 3-year commitment already.
Well, as I said, there's a lot of water under the bridge. There's a lot of things happening up there, or been happening. Meetings with the board and the staff. And we just needed to reassure the board that the council is supporting them. That was all what it's about.
If we've already got a 3-year commitment till 2028, my feeling is that we should probably let the new council.
Councillor Courtney, would you like?
Sorry, through you. I'm probably then going to speak against, because we've got a commitment that this will be in place till 2028. I think that the new council needs to look at it when they start, because we need to make sure that we've got staff that will go down there, and we need to make sure we've got a councillor that will sit on the Waratah board. So I don't have an objection to recommitting, but if we've already got an agreement till 2028, I think the recommitment should be by a new council and not us as we're walking out the door. Is that reasonable? Is that reasonable?
I think, Madam Chair, if you read the report down further, we have a representative has been nominated that will be going down. from the council, staff member. There's a fair few things, as I said, there's water under the bridge and they've been put in place. And it's ready to go.
Right, but it's in place until 2028.
Right, we won't have a debate, the question's
No,
been
okay.
answered. So
Okay, yep.
okay.
Yep.
Do you have anything else? That
No, I think based on that, I'll vote against because we've already got it, and I think that it should be up to the new council. Yeah.
Any for? Councillor Roberts?
I might foreshadow a little bit of emotion here, depending on which way this goes, right? Even if this doesn't get up, could potentially council write a letter just reaffirming our commitment, just saying, hey, we are supportive, etc., etc. Just something as simple as that to reaffirm to them our commitment, as opposed to getting ahead of ourselves a bit here. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other, anybody else would like to speak?
And I'll say on the record that even if I vote against this, only in that context of genuinely what Councillor Courtney has just brought up, okay? I support Waratah wholeheartedly, support the community board completely. Again, that is a very good question you raised there.
Any other speakers to the motion?
I was just going to speak for the motion. Good to see that they've got a really good voice and down there now. And I don't think that, the 3-year thing, or say another year on top of what it is, it's not going to matter. One bit.
It's a 3-year commitment.
3-year
We've
commitment.
already got a commitment till 2028.
Yeah, but it's.
Sorry, no speaking
Sorry.
against.
Yeah, so, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, there's got a question, if I may.
If you let
I will go for
and then
Well,
allow them to
Councillor
close.
Raw, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Roberts, I've got it.
I just want to focus on point 3, that even though, yes, it may be there and we're only 1 year into a 3-year term, that this does bring in the support of the constructive resolution process between the council and the board, so that makes it a little bit different to what's existing already.
Councillor Roberts. Oh, sorry, Councillor Highland.
Question, how many councillors can put up their hand in the last 4 years, their 4-year term, have actually been and visited Waratah?
I'll put 2 up.
Well, yeah, I've been there 100 times.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to put the motion, there's going to be a division, so I'll ask all those for to raise their hand. We've got Councillor Bramage, Councillor Johnson, Councillor Raw, Councillor Highland, Councillor Roberts and myself, and against Councillor Courtney. The motion is carried.
Maybe took my tractor back there. Sorry.
Don't apologise. We need it sometimes, Councillor Ramage.
Okay, let's move on to the biggies.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be in touch.
We'll move on to 10.1, the annual plan and budget estimates. We've got a recommendation there for the adoption of the annual plan, the adoption of the annual estimates, fees and charges, rates and resolution, general rate, fire service levy, waste management charges, storm water service rates. And could you please note that Councillor Raw has left the room at 7:08. Payments and options, defaults and penalties, supplementary rates, separate land, adjusted values, borrowings. Could I have there's a recommendation there for
Second.
Councillor Roberts and Councillor Courtney. Councillor Roberts.
Look, I just really, as I always do, just really want to credit our staff, okay? Not just in local government, but in the world itself, not just this country, but not just the West, but the world itself. You know, we're headed into economic downturn, hyperinflation. I cannot credit not only the work of Mr. Smith with our finance, but also the people that work in finance, our staff that work in finance. They do an amazing job. Our finances are the envy of many councils in Tasmania, and we find a very good balance between saving and also investing money, which will set our community ahead for generations. And so I just really, the amount of work that goes into these budgets and the amount of, not for us as councillors, but the amount of work that our Director of Finance puts into this and his team is an incredible mountain of work. And I genuinely am very grateful, Mr. Smith, that you work at this council. I'm very grateful for your team that's at this council as well. And I have complete faith in you that we will continue to work our way through these difficult times and stay not only sustainable and viable, but also profitable as a council. And I want to be on the record again and just thank you and your team for that. You make us look good. It's your hard work, it's your intelligence, and I'm very grateful for it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. I would just like people to know that Councillor Raw re-entered the room at 7:09. Councillor Courtney, would you like to speak at all?
I will acknowledge that, you know, I understand your request for a rate differential for the businesses. I understand that obviously it is very hard at the moment, especially with the minimum increase to wages. The struggle that we have is that we kept our rate increases at 0.1% after COVID. Like, we were one of the lowest councils in rates increases for, I think, 4 years running. So we've got to a point where, with the current inflation and the current interest rates, it's just unfortunate that now is a time that we do have to make that increase. Otherwise, it's going to be worse for the next couple of rate increases. So while this is not a decision that we took lightly, it has been a very long period of very small increases. And because of the impost of the interest rates and inflation at the moment, we really had no other choice. We've looked at a lot of cuts that we could make. We've looked at rationalising some parklands that we need to sell. We're sort of doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the lowest possible rate increase we can for our residents. Look, I think that there's room for improvement. Yes, sorry, through yourself. Yes,
no
through
speaking
yourself.
to the gallery.
Yes, through yourself.
Sorry.
So I acknowledge that we're trying to do everything that we can to keep our rates down for everybody, and that includes our local businesses. I'm sure there's some more work we could do in that area, but given how much time we've spent trying to make sure that we do give a low interest rate, as opposed to the inflation and the interest rates that we're popping, I think that, unfortunately, this year, this is what it's going to have to be. I'm sure that we can look at rationalising and interest rates, our rates being lower for the next couple of years. I just think that after 4 or 5 years of being the lowest rates in Tasmania, with the inflation and the increases that we've copped, obviously those wage increases come to our staff as well. There's been increases in our childcare centre wages. Like, there's a lot that's imposted on council that, unfortunately, this is what we have to do this year. And I do feel for the residents, I do feel for the businesses, but it's just unfortunate that this year we do actually have to play a little bit of catch up and to future-proof our budget. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm going to have to support it because this is what we have to do. We've done a lot of workshops on it, and this is the best we could possibly do to make sure that we ensure the future is sustainable, as well as not putting too much of a cost impost when we know that electricity and water is going to go up. We've done our very best to keep it as low as we can. So I've got to support that motion that's on the table.
Thank you, Councillor Courtney. Any other speakers against the motion? Any other speakers to the motion? Councillor Hyland.
Well, I'd just add a couple of things, if I may. I think the fact that we stick pretty well to our 10-year plan and our 10-year financial plan, we have done all that consistently over the years. And like this year again, now you can look down and our capital works expenditure is 20.6 million, which includes 10 million of new works. We did make an early decision where we had to put some of our big projects back and quite a little bit too, to, so we could fall into line and still afford to do what we can do. In our asset renewals, 7.6, 7.3, and 2.3 million on upgrading existing assets. So we look after what we've got all the time. We've always kept up to date with our renewals, which shows as you drive around the municipality and around town. So congratulations again to the staff for pulling it in, probably a little bit higher than what the rate increase. A couple of us might have wanted about a 4.5, but happy with where we've landed, and we'll work with it. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor Hyland. Any other questions or statements, comments? No. Councillor Roberts, would you?
Yep, I agree with what everyone has said. So that's a rare one in government, isn't it? So I do agree with what everyone has said. Basically, it's I just want to actually credit Councillor Bramage here as well a lot. Actually, behind closed doors, he is very outspoken about the fact that he wants us to have the lowest rates. He's always pushing it. He's always pushing for the battler, and he's always pushing for the people that need a few extra bob in their pocket, right? So we have looked at this. We've gone over it. We've put questions in. We've peppered Mitch with questions, and Mr. Smith, to his credit, can answer all those questions, which helps us tremendously. And this is the soft landing, really. We have a choice of, do we hit people in gaps or do we hit them all at once later? And the answer is, I'd rather the actual soft landing for people rather than the hard landing that we're all facing. So I think our finance has done tremendously here, and in credit to Councillor Courtney and her words about the fact that we've had the lowest rate rises in the state for such a long time. I think we're in our 10th year of surplus as well, which is just unheard of. And I think if there's a finance team that can navigate our way through these difficult times, it'll be the finance team at Waratah Wynyard Council. So I'm absolutely happy to back them 100% to the hilt. So thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. We'll move on to 10.2, Annual Plan Progress Report, 1st of July 2025 to the 31st of May 2026. There's a recommendation there that council notes the 25-26 Annual Plan Progress Report for the period 1st of July 2025 to 31st of May 2026. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Roberts.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Oh, might have been a tie over here.
Three ways I'm easy.
Councillor Bramage, we'll go with. Sorry, Councillor Courtney.
No, you're right.
Sorry.
Okay,
No, you're
Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to that motion?
I say the same thing pretty much every time. I cannot encourage the public enough to read these reports. They are very incredibly detailed. And just even in the detail section, it says that as of the 31st of May 2026, 27 actions have been completed, which is 61% of all the actions by May. 16 actions are in progress, which makes up 37% of the actions, and only one action has not been started, which is 2%, and that is due to resourcing. So I would say that our staff do a tremendous job, not only the staff on the ground doing these things, but also the staff at that strategic level that hand down these plans. And yeah, really, I'm just incredibly proud of the people that work at this council to be able to deliver, because this is what we have promised the community. Absolutely, we should absolutely follow up and commit to everything that we have said we will do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Bramage, would you like to
No,
speak?
everything's. I'm really happy with everything.
Right. Any other speakers speaking against the motion? Any speakers want to speak to the motion? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. We've got 10.3, Rates and Charges Policy. There's a recommendation there that council adopts the revised rates and charges policy as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved. Second.
Councillor Roberts and Councillor Johnson second.
same thing I said last time, it's applicable for this as well. And yeah, 100% I back it. We've tried to make the rate rises as low as possible in balance with the service that we deliver to the community and balanced with our commitments that we have with capital works. So yeah, I really credit finance for what they've done with this. It's a miracle.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Johnson, would you like to speak?
As re-report.
Any speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Okay, we move into 10.4, election caretaker period policy. A recommendation there that council readopts the election caretaker period policy as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
I'll say Councillor Courtney and Councillor Raw. Councillor Courtney, would you like to speak to?
No, I think that it's good governance during the caretaker period to not, invest or make decisions on major projects or anything because the incoming council is the one that's going to have to wear it. I only wish our state government had done that during their caretaker period.
I'll just let the public know that Councillor Roberts left the room at 7:20. Councillor Raw, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, I just noticed in reading the caretaker policy and carefully looking at it, can I just have the minutes that the timeframe for that is from the publication of the election notice, the 5th of September to the 27th of October, because nowhere in the docket actually has the dates, so I just thought it'd be good to know the dates specifically. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion? Yep. Okay, I will put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. We'll move on to 10.5. We've got 10.5, Communications and Engagement Strategy, Year 2 Progress Report. We've got a recommendation there that council notes the year 2 progress of the Communications and Engagement Strategy 2024-27.
So moved.
Councillor Courtney. Seconder. I'll just let the public know that Councillor Roberts re-entered the room at 7:21. Great. Councillor Courtney, would you like to speak to that?
Oh, look, I think it's great that we're working with the Western Echo because they've got a pretty good coverage and it's a free newspaper, so that's a great way to get out to people. I think it would be a really good idea if when we send out our rates notices that there's a little barcode somewhere in the pamphlet that helps people sign up to the community newsletter, because I think that's the best way to reach all of the residents. So because we're starting our own newsletter, if we send that out with our rates notices, that's the best opportunity for us to let everybody in the municipality know that if they want to keep up to date with community events, they can sign up to our community newsletter. So I think that's an excellent idea, and I hope that we take the opportunity to let as many people know as we possibly can that there's a community newsletter they can sign up to that will keep them updated on what events are going on and what activities council are up to and what DAs are in play, and yeah, it keeps the residents well informed. So I think that's really good. I think that the community conversations are obviously going well. The way we're doing them at the moment, obviously we're getting a lot more people attending and a lot more feedback on what council's doing. So I think obviously we're winning in that area as well. That's a really good way to engage with the community. I think this is a space that we're actually doing really well in. So congratulations to the staff.
Through you, Mayor. Mitch has some information about what's going out in the rates notice.
Madam Deputy Mayor, just to give you an update around the newsletter, we are actively looking at putting that detail in the Guide to Services brochure that goes out with the rates notice. So we'll have some detail around the community newsletter, around what the community newsletter is and how people can actually sign up for that. So we'll
That's
have
fantastic, Mitch. I knew you'd be ahead of me. Thank you for that.
We're already working on that.
Is it good?
Councillor Raw, would you like to speak to the motion?
I'm really pleased to read the 2-year report, basically because I see that communication engagement with our community, particularly if it's at a really high level, it leads to satisfaction for the community in seeing what council is doing on their behalf and developing an understanding of why and how particular things can or can't be done in a from the council's perspective. So it's really great to see that the community feel their views and ideas or opinions are valued because they're being asked for them. But some of the big questions I still hear, around all the different community consultations that are happening. We hear a lot of people say, what's happening about, or what's happening with, or I was asked about it, what happened with that bit? Or I've had a couple of people say to me, I gave my opinion or gave my part around that, and it wasn't reflected in the strategy. So when you look at the report there, I think it's around the few things that have been put aside for work to begin. So I think it's about 4.2A and 5.1A and 5.1B and 5.2C. It's around that work that is still to happen that is exceedingly important, and it's around the IAP2 table that's in the document. It's such an important reference to how we engage with our community and on all the different levels that we can engage. So, we might inform, collaborate, consult or empower. And I think depending on who you are, you want to engage on different levels for different reasons. So I see that those bits that are still to be worked on are really important to how this goes. And I'm really excited to see how that goes. And another thing linking back into those questions I hear people ask is letting the community know how their input will be used. And I think that's really important for people because they put themselves out there and say things thinking that it's important, that their opinion is important or what they think is important. So in closing it and finishing that engagement, I think it's good for people to know, well, how will it be used? And it can be used in many different ways. Like council might say, well, we're canvassing and we're going to get everyone's opinions and we'll move with the thing that's the most important or the thing that had the most votes. Or they might say, we're collaborating with you and the group idea that we come up with will be the one that goes ahead. Or what's the best idea that your group can come up with that we would take on and move forward with? So, those things I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go in the next couple of years. So all in all, I think great work so far being done and really looking forward to the next update on that final finishing off of communication engagement with our community. Yeah.
Beautiful. Any other speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion?
I've got a question, if I may, Mr. Deputy. I guess through to Mitch, I guess you'll probably answer it, but you can direct whoever you want. When you say you put a barcode on something so people can sign up for the newsletter, what's that mean? Does that mean they get it in the post? Or does it mean they'll get it online? Or does it mean what? I don't know. I'm a bit literate when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Deputy Mayor, if we were using a QR code or a barcode, it would actually be printed on some of the material that's going with the rateness notice. I'm not sure are we using a barcode?
How would I get onto a QR code? Excuse my ignorance.
Well, Councillor, I can advise you outside the meeting. I don't think.
But I mean, what about all the people that's listening that don't know how to get on either?
Councillor Roberts will let our CEO or
So if it's a QR code, it normally says scan this code, and you just open your phone's camera.
Oh, right. And the newsletter will come up. Is that what you mean?
No.
Oh.
That will be to sign up for it.
Right. And then how does it get delivered to you then?
It's electronic, isn't it? So it will be coming through on email.
Okay. Okay. Have we thought about printing a heap as well and leaving them in some shops like we used to do?
Again, through you, Deputy Mayor, I believe that has been a consideration, but it was found to be not cost effective because they usually get wasted.
No environmental.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Any other speakers for the motion? Councillor Johnson?
Just a quick one. I think with this e-newsletter, most of the questions will be answered in that. You know, the council news, the improvement to the website, the accessibility to, you know, enhance engagement. So that's what the big improvement's going to be. You know, so that's it. It's going to be more transparent, so everyone's going to be knowing everything, and it's just going to be pretty much click and collect, and you'll get that email sent to you. And you know, most people have got the iPhone now, so yeah, it's a fantastic step forward.
Any other speakers?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, just one way I can describe it to Councillor Bramage is that it's like bringing that community notice board to their email, Councillor Bramage. So everything just pops straight to them, and then the community notice board issue is solved as well. So.
Thank you.
Any against or any more speakers for? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. So we'll move on to 10.6, Quarterly Information Report, Organisational Performance. We have a recommendation there that Council notes the Quarterly Information Report for the Organisational Performance Department as of the 31st of May 2026. Can I have a mover? Councillor Courtney.
Seconded.
Roberts. Councillor Courtney, would you like to speak?
I just love this part because it's got the information systems update from Ms Morwood, so it's my favourite part of the agenda.
Is it? Okay. Councillor Roberts.
Look, yeah, I'll always say the same thing, so I'll just cut it short and just say, look, again, highly encourage the public to read these, whether it's infrastructure, community, organisational performance. It'll all go into a quarterly information report. Those reports are released with the agenda 3 monthly, and it is comprehensive as it gets. The statistics, everything, you know, between those reports, people would have an extreme understanding. They'd be able to see the same information we do. And so this is the byproduct of all our conversation, byproduct of everything the staff have done. So I cannot encourage the public enough. All these mentions of what's going on, where's this? Well, we do reports already that we present, and people could read them and they would have a very good understanding of what's going on. So thank you.
Councillor Roberts. Any other speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. We'll move on to 10.7.
Mayor, can I ask a question before we start so I get it right, so I don't? Am I allowed to amend the motion before it's put? I'm not allowed to amend that that's there. It's got to be debated, then I can put an amendment in.
You can propose an amendment.
Okay, yep, fine.
Okay. We'll move on to 10.7, Mount Hicks Road Speed Limit Review. We've got a recommendation there that Council receives and notes the assessment of the speed limit on Mount Hicks Road and determines to retain the current default rural speed limit of 100 kilometres an hour. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Roberts.
Second.
Councillor Courtney.
Now you can propose an amendment.
Would you?
I'll allow Councillor Bramage to go before I say anything.
That's okay.
Would you like?
You can do it now.
So I've got to speak against it, and then the motion's put, and then I put an amendment through.
No, you say your amendment.
You can do it now. I'm just not going. You can go, and then I'll second your amendment.
I'd like to amend the motion that it be serious considered that it go back to 80. The reasons outlined for that is because I don't think there's many places you can actually do 100 on that road.
They don't.
And it's got a lot of heavy traffic on it, with farmers moving machinery from farm to farm. And I think it's safe if we reduce it to 80. So that's my
I'll second his amendment.
So you need to get a seconder for that before you need to get a seconder. For it.
Yeah, well,
It can't be the first or
It
the
can't be
second.
the first two. So
Second that.
Can I just ask a clarification
Would
question?
just moving along with the amended.
Can we debate?
Councillor Johnson seconded it.
Debate, it's
So we
actually,
have an amended motion that the speed limit on Mount Hicks Road should be reduced to 80 kilometres an hour. Is that correct?
Yep.
Right, and that's seconded, so it's now open for debate. So councillor Raw can ask her
well,
question.
I just need a clarification because I just think there's probably a mistake in what's been put there. So in the recommendation, it says default the rural speed limit of 100 kilometres per hour. And then in the part at the end, the conclusion, it says in consideration of the following key points, it's recommended to reduce, it's not recommended to reduce. Yep, okay.
It's to retain.
Yep,
I did
okay.
the same thing as well, so.
Yeah, it's just a bit ambiguous. Yeah.
Right, so
Okay, so councillor Bramage can speak to his motion again if he wishes to.
do we speak?
Sorry.
No,
100
so
cars.
that's not correct. The council receives and notes the assessment of the speed limit on Mount Hicks roads and determines to reduce.
We'll actually need to, sorry.
Traffic impact assessment.
We'll just let Mr Summers work out the right wording.
Make a request to the Transport Commissioner for that to be reduced.
And determines to
Request the Transport Commissioner to reduce the rural speed
yeah,
limit.
can you, no,
Second line.
No,
second
no.
line.
Second
After
line.
second determined.
Poor Sally.
Can I just have one person tell me, please?
Yeah. And second line determines to
Transport Commissioner.
request the Road Transport Commissioner to reduce the speed limit to 80 kilometres an hour. Can you just put a 2 between determines and requests, please? Determines to request. Commissioner. There we go. Right.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I believe that we've got to look at the speed limits on our roads quite seriously. And I really don't think it's a 100 kilometre an hour road. That's why I put in the 80. It's got a lot of farm machinery moving from farm to farm over the 12 months. It's got a lot of whey being carted up there and pumped on farms. Some of the driveways haven't got good visibility in access. So I think it's, what we can do, I think we should try and bring it back to 80.
Councillor Johnson, would you like to speak?
And obviously this is a request by the residents up Mount Hicks Road. You know, you got your case history, 5 years, fatalities none, serious injuries 1, minor 4, first aid 1, property damage 10. You know, we want to eradicate all that. And, you know, you've got 85% of recorded speed is 85 kilometres an hour anyway. So what's another 5, you know, deducting another 5 off that and making it 80? It just makes sense, you know. We're here to look after our residents. They're calling for that reduced speed, so I reckon we should be doing it.
Any speakers against? Any speakers for? Councillor Courtney.
Yeah, I think this is something that the residents have asked us to do, and we're a road safe council. I mean, you know, you're one of the biggest proponents of being road safe. I think this makes sense. We've got so many houses up there. You come around the corner 100 kilometres an hour and somebody's coming out of that driveway, you clean them up. So I absolutely support Councillor Bramage's motion to reduce it to 80, 100%.
Thank you, Councillor Courtney.
It's in line with being a road safe council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Genuinely to follow on what Councillor Johnson said, that people, and I was going to read the same statistic in here, that 85% of the people that use that road are doing on average 85 kilometres an hour anyway. So, 8.5 out of 10 people that use that road, it's actually around about that 85 kilometres. So they're self-determining that 100 is too quick.
Yeah.
So if we can present that information to the Transport Commissioner, even if it was reduced to 90 kilometres, it'd allow those people within that sphere to still do their 85 kilometres. I know myself that one of the biggest things about going up that road is when someone is doing 110 or 100 behind you, and it's sort of pushing you up the hill, isn't it? Because you've got no choice. And so, I think this is one of them cases where it's actual people self-determining to do a lesser speed that actually mitigates those statistics. I feel those statistics would be much higher if people were crazy enough to do those speeds up that road. So I think this is a great one, and I'd like to commend Councillor Bramage for amending this motion, and I fully support it.
Any other speakers against? Any other speakers for on the amended motion? I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour of the amended motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. So now we go back as this amended motion as the motion.
Yeah.
So do I?
No, you've just done it.
You've just hold it, we don't need to do it again. Okay, cool, sorry. Okay. So now, I would like to move 10.8, 10.9 and 10.11, that's Little Village Lane, Tollymore Road and Table Cape Road in a block. So I would like to move a recommendation to vote to move those in a block with your agreement.
Absolutely.
All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, passed unanimously. So yes, I move 10.8, 10.9 and 10.11. Did you, was somebody going to put this on? Yep, beautiful. That council receives and notes the information regarding the request to reduce the speed limit on Little Village Lane along with 10.9 and 10.11, notifies the impacted stakeholders of council's intent to request a review of the speed limit, and should no objectionable feedback be received from stakeholders, request the Transport Commissioner to review the speed limit.
So moved.
Yep, second.
Roberts, would you like to speak to those motions, please?
Just that obviously this is a strategy that we've been looking at. Again, I want to really credit Councillor Bramage with this too. He's really championed this for a lot of years now behind the scenes. It makes sense to make the country roads a little bit slower and hopefully save a few lives. So, I support it 100%, and we really do need all those speed limits reviewed.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Courtney?
Just wondering whether you wanted to include 10.12.
Yeah, because it's got...
10.12 was...
I understand why you're doing it separately.
Yeah, English, sorry, it's English, yeah.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, it's different speed limits, so we can't move it.
Oh, okay, yep.
We did discuss that in our little meeting, but yeah, thank you. Did you still want to talk about?
No, I agree.
Anybody against? Any speakers for? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. So now we'll go to 10.11.
10.10.
Sorry, 10.10. Sorry, I was there. Okay, so Village Lane speed limit review. We've got a recommendation there that council receives and notes the assessment of the speed limit on Village Lane and determines to retain the current default rural speed limit of 100 kilometres an hour. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move it. Did you want to change this one as well? Yep.
Well, sorry, if Councillor Bramage wants to move an amendment, he probably shouldn't be the seconder.
No, I'll second.
So I'm just saying, I'm asking for some move. So I'll move it, you second it. then before I go into it as the open, I would like Councillor Bramage to have the stand.
We'll probably let Councillor Bramage work out whether he wants to move it or not, so.
I don't want to move the actual motion that's in the books, but I want to move an amendment.
You've just done.
What you've just,
You want me to do that now?
Now move the amendment.
Okay then, I'd like to move that this be reduced to 80, and I'll explain why.
Sorry, before you explain, let's get a seconder.
Yep, sorry.
I'll second that.
Right, let's get the wording up on screen before you start. So Sally, it's the same,
Copy and paste the last one.
yes, which is already there. Well done,
Yep,
Sally.
she's all over it.
Thank you. Right, on you go, Councillor Bramage.
Thank you.
Your amendment.
Well, I guess this speed limit change has come from a letter from some residents that I handed the general manager, which passed on to our director of engineering a little short time ago. And I guess I think to myself, well, what's the difference between Village Lane and probably Seabrook Road? And I think to myself, well, not a lot. There's farms there, there's machinery moving. We've done Seabrook Road down to 80. I thought, well, while we're in the area, why not do this one down to 82? End of story. Someone else will never go now.
Councillor Johnson,
Yeah, I'm just a big believer of all rural roads should be down around about the 80 because, you know, you've got tourists now and an abundance of tourists coming. And they stick to the speed limits. If it says 100, they'll do 100, not knowing the road. So bring it down to 80. Yeah, please.
any speakers against? Any speakers for?
I just want to state this is a reflection of some of the changing of these rural communities. Traditionally, a lot of this land has been farming land, and over the time, whilst many people, many families have been raised up the back, there's actually more houses than ever. It's a demographic thing where traditionally might have been a workhouse, now there's young families living in there. So I just want to credit Councillor Bramage because people don't see what's said behind closed doors, but Councillor Bramage has absolutely championed the speed limits now for years and the rural roads, and I remember us in great detail talking about this and the importance about how quick people come up to that intersection and the fact people can't see. So I think this is very logical. I feel like if the Transport Commissioner and that deny it, then I feel like we should push back as a council and say this is a necessity. Okay, so not everything's about statistics, not everything's about, some things are just common, plain sense. So I agree with this wholeheartedly and let's go with it.
Well, thank you, Councillor Roberts. Any other speakers to it? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. That's it. Done. Okay. So now we're moving to 10.12, Inglis Street Speed Limit Review. We've got a recommendation there that council receives and notes the information regarding the request to reduce the speed limit on Inglis Street from the current 50-kilometre zone at Cotton Street to the intersection with Wilkinson Street. And A, notifies the impacted stakeholders of council's intent to request a review of the speed limit, and should no objectionable feedback be received from stakeholders, request the Transport Commissioner to review the speed limit. Could I have a mover? Could I have a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to that?
I remember when everything changed to 50 kilometres, and the rule, I believe, is that all streets are 50 kilometres unless otherwise signed. So since that is the main thoroughfare of the whole town, really, Inglis Street, I find that it's very suitable that we'd actually have it to be probably 50 kilometres at least until we get to the outskirts of town. Again, same thing, demographics change, things change. Obviously, a very busy area with the access to the high school, IGA and everything heading that way towards Cotton Street, and it makes sense. So,
I'd like to flag that I'd like to move an amendment. Sorry that I'm being a pain. It's to this. Do you want me to tell you what that is now, or
Just the headline and then get a seconder for it.
that we don't stop at Wilkinson Street with 50. We continue on a little bit further out the road to the end of English Street, the start of Bass Highway. And it makes English Street a 50-kilometre street. They're not two different speed limits on the one street.
You need a seconder.
Could I have a seconder?
Yeah,
Johnson.
makes sense.
And
Right, let's get that up on the screen before we go any further.
who seconded the motion?
Johnson.
That's a small section, because I'm sure.
Well,
Do we add that?
We're having a crack tonight, aren't we?
That motion has yes.
Because,
Yeah.
well, you don't want two speed limits in one street.
No, everything we've done with speed limits is to make it
Do
safer.
it quick and they can go left on
so
the roundabout,
change
can't
to the intersection, with Bass Highway.
And does it, Daniel, you've got York Street in there as well?
Yeah, we'll go beyond that, yeah.
Yeah,
That covers all that.
right. Now that motion, it becomes the motion.
Okay.
I certainly believe in one street, one speed limit. I know it always can't work, but I think it can work out in English Street. And if we're going to go to Wilkinson Street, it's not that just much further up the road, and we're at the start of English Street at the Bass Highway. So I suggest we start there. We got York Street and Caitlin Drive intersection there. It's quite busy now. Look, if the cars are going 10 kilometres an hour, it might be easy for them to get out there. They mightn't go slow. I don't know, but at least we're trying as a council. And I think there'll be probably some people go crook, but I reckon the majority will thank us when there's only one speed limit in the street. That'll make English Street a whole 50-kilometre street then. Thank you.
Councillor Johnson, would you like to speak to this motion?
Yeah, other than, Caitlin Drive is getting a little built-up area now, and there's a lot of young kids out there. There's a lot of scooters and e-scooters and all that going around now, so less it and keep it to 50 will be safer for every one of us. Thank you.
Any speakers against?
Look, probably not so much against, because I'm a road safety person through and through. But one of the problems around speed limits is consistency. And I think the thing we're doing now is we're taking the 50 right to Bass Highway. But when we go the other way, we've just approved that past the Seabrook Golf Course out to the highway there is 60. So what's the difference between where it moves into 60 on the eastern side of town compared to the western side? So I would just say we need to proceed with caution. People, a lot of people don't even look at what the speed limit is. So I think we have to be as consistent as we can be. So what's the difference my question is, what's the difference on the eastern side of town compared to the western side of town when we've just changed the eastern side of town to 60?
Yes. Mr Summers.
Yeah, sure. Look, through Deputy Mayor, Councillor Raw's observations are correct. On the eastern entrance to town, in a more rural road setting, it's reduced from 70 to 60. I don't intend to add confusion to the discussion, but there are also other roads within town, Dodgen Street and Saunders Street, which remain at 60 kilometres per hour as well. I don't think that needs to halt your decision making tonight. We do have in the budget we adopted earlier to do a transport strategy which can look a bit more holistically at these things. It's worthwhile recognising that not just Wynyard but other areas of Tasmania have seen progressively lowering of speeds as communities come to terms with how to holistically try to avoid road trauma and crashes, of course. So while there are differences to the entrances to town, I don't think that potentially is a reason to not make a decision on merit as you're considering tonight, but the transport strategy will hopefully put some consistency to the whole of the road network. I think if I were to talk about Somerset, we'd find some similar inconsistencies as well. So.
Any other speakers for the motion? Councillor Courtney?
Yeah, I'd just like to note that this motion was actually brought to us by Fonterra. So Fonterra have said there are risks for our employees going in and out of there. So I think that it's reasonable to consider this in light of the fact that it's been instigated by, you know, one of the biggest businesses in the area that is saying that there's a risk for their employees. So I agree with Councillor Bramich that we may as well just make it consistent all the way out. And there are a lot of new houses out there, so I think that it's reasonable to understand where Fonterra is coming from, and it's reasonable to say let's be consistent all the way out.
So,
Yeah, you've already spoke, I'm sorry.
no,
Oh, sorry, I thought you had.
No, I spoke on this one. Did I?
Sorry, go.
No, not, I spoke before he amended the
Yeah,
motion,
go
okay?
for it, sorry.
All right, so I wanted, again, same thing, changing demographics, okay? So traditionally, Inglis heading out to the Bass Highway was an industrial zone. All we had was industrial businesses out there, log yards, Taztex linings, etc., etc. So over the last, say, 15, 20 years, there's been half a dozen new developments out there, Yulumbi, Caitlin Drive, etc., etc. So the demographic, which was traditionally an industrial zone, is now basically a haven for young families.
Yeah.
And so it makes a lot of sense to actually lower it to that residential level, whereas traditionally, say, East Wynyard has been an exit from town. The golf course is there, and absolutely there's houses there, but as you get further out towards Doctors Rocks, there's not so much of a, what you call a population build-up. With the bus stop down there, etc., etc., the roundabout to get out of town, etc., I think it makes a lot of sense to consider what we used to consider an industrial area to now be a residential zone. And so I think for the preservation of the safety of the people that live there, I think it's a very logical idea, and I support it wholeheartedly.
Are there, no, not any more speakers. Any more speakers to the motion? Okay, I'll put the motion. There may be a division, so I'll ask you to raise your hands. All those in favour or for. So Councillor Bramage, Councillor Courtney, Councillor Johnson, Councillor Hyland, Councillor Roberts and myself, and against
Councillor.
Councillor.
Can I just make a comment here?
No.
You've spoken.
Okay.
So the motion is passed.
Thanks, yeah.
Okay, so 10.13, traffic impact assessments, Hog Street and Sisters Beach. We've got a recommendation there that 1, receives a traffic impact assessment for Hog Street and Sisters Beach, and 2, notes the recommendations of the traffic impact assessments and plans to deliver these recommendations through the financial management strategy, strategic asset management plan and the annual plan and budget process. Could I have a
Moved.
Councillor Courtney, seconder?
Second.
Councillor Roberts. Councillor Courtney, would you like to
I would
speak?
like to credit yourself and Councillor Johnson for raising it, because I've thought that the Sisters Beach Road is too high a speed limit for quite a while. So I credit you both for raising it, and I'm very happy to support it because it does have that reduction in speed limit. So I'm happy to support it, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Courtney. Councillor Roberts?
I think the same thing. I actually support it wholeheartedly. You know, it's not just, you know, it's a weird one. It's not just in terms of, it sounds crazy, but it's not just the human side of it, but also the animals and the fauna. You know, it's
100%.
we've got to preserve what we've got. So, you know, it's a lot easier to see something crossing the road when you're going a lot less of a speed, and also the speed bumps, I think, down Sisters Beach in certain areas to a low level, as long as it doesn't impede the residents. I think it's a really good idea as well.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Any speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Public land disposal, consultation outcome, 25 Lockett Street, Wynyard, 10.14. There's a recommendation there that council, 1, notes the outcome of public land disposal process for 25 Lockett Street, Wynyard, following the 21-day submission period. 2, resolves to proceed with the disposal of 25 Lockett Street. And 3, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to enter a contract of sale as appropriate. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Roberts,
Yeah, I'll second that.
Councillor Bramage. Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to the motion?
Look, it's always hard, especially again the next item as well. There's been so much discussion around this table in workshop with finance about the best way to manage the assets and the best way to mitigate costs, etc. With what's been delivered, I'm pretty confident in saying that these disposals are actually a good strategic move by council, and I'm willing to back our finance and our CEO in their strategy of how to maintain cost effectiveness. And it's nice to own the land, but we must really be doing something with it to own it, and it must be productive. I feel like freeing some of these blocks up is actually a really good thing for our residents, the potential for more housing, etc. So I support it wholeheartedly, and I'm happy to authorise the CEO to enter a contract for sale. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Bramage.
Yeah, just very briefly, Mrs Deputy. Look, it was always a council, I won't say policy, I won't say decision, but an idea that when the new playground got built out at Kimmy's Way, Rotary Park, that's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah, Rotary Park, that we'd look at disposing of these little pieces of land. And I think we're going down that path, and I think it's a wise move. Thank you.
Thank you. Any speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. 10.15, public land disposal consultation outcome 0 Ronald Crescent, Somerset. There's a recommendation there that Council 1 notes the outcome of the public land disposal process for 0 Ronald Crescent, Somerset following the 21-day submission period. 2, resolves to proceed with the disposal of 0 Ronald Crescent, Somerset. And 3, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to enter a contract to sale as appropriate. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, I can second it. Yep.
Councillor Roberts. Councillor Johnson.
Other than, once again, our playgrounds are in the right spot and an open space for opportunity to put housing or units there for people that we do need. So I thoroughly recommend it.
Councillor Roberts.
Look, this is the hardest part of the job really, is planning the representations in this. My heart breaks for these people in Somerset. To be honest, credit to the councillors that have come before me and the councillors here before me to have these things that people care so much about. It shows that they actually care about their parks, they care about their public spaces. The public spaces we have draw people to live in our region, as the Peaches have explained before, and my heart goes out to them. In this job, we're never going to please everyone. Every decision we make impacts on many. And I really do enjoy when people come to the gallery, and whether they tell me something good, bad or indifferent, I like the engagement with the community. So it really breaks my heart to be sitting here and dispose of land that I know these people care about. And it's, but, if you want to, I've said this before, if you want to make a few omelettes, you've got to crack a few eggs. And sometimes we have to do things that necessarily don't want to do for the greater good. And in my attempt to explain to the members of the community why these decisions have been made, is that we have built a brand new $1.6 million park in Somerset, and it's completely accessible and free for everyone. And there is a cost to that, and there's an impost on that. And sometimes, that part of the land, people don't realise we maintain those blocks of land. We maintain that play equipment. That play equipment had reached end of life. It was mouldy. I've seen the photos. Members of the community actually contacting council and complaining about the playground equipment there. So council in its due diligence has removed that equipment. And what the question is, what do we do with the land? Now, with the need for houses, the need for homes, that's what I've alluded to before, is perhaps that by freeing up some of this land, it might open opportunities for housing for people, it might open opportunities for development. We need to draw development to our region, and people need roofs over their heads. So, you know, it's I just want it on record that it's hard for me to do this, but as it is my job, that's exactly what I will do, and I'll support this motion and I'll support the strategies of this council. But just know that we do it as humans, and that it's tough for us as well, and it's always difficult to be the bearer of bad news. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any speakers against the motion? Are there any speakers for the motion?
Yeah, I'll let it crack if I may, Madam Deputy. Well, Mr. Deputy, what would you like? What would be...
Whatever you like.
Thank you. Look, if we just go back a little bit in time, and probably before a fair few years in this room, I can recall 50 years ago, working for Daniel's grandfather, carting concrete to these places, over Ronald Crescent, Lockett Street. They were called bank homes. Young families with kids would go in there, and they built these playgrounds, which was a good idea at the time. But times change. The kids have moved somewhere else. The middle-aged people have got the houses now. I bought them. I bought them off the government, I presume. It's a little bit then. But so look, I can sympathise with these people. Look, you're looking out the window and see a vacant land for the last 20 years, and then you want to see houses. Of course you don't. But look, that's the way life is. So I urge council to support what's in front of them. Thank you.
Any other speakers against? Any speakers for? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. 10.16.
Oh, 16, my apologies, my apologies.
Award of contract 849, provision of bitumen surfacing services. Recommendation there that council awards contract 849 for the provision of bitumen surfacing services to the Hardings Group for 2026-27, including the alternative tender option of crumbed rubber additive to all spray seals.
So
I have a mover.
Seconded.
Can't spell your name, Councillor Courtney.
That's right, I've been called worse.
Yeah, we know what it is. Okay, Councillor Courtney, would you like to speak to that motion?
Oh no, look, I think I know that we'd be getting value from money when young Mr Summers is involved, but I really like the fact that we're using the crumbed rubber to keep the seals with the water running off and keeping it safer, and recycling the rubber at the same time. So I think that's excellent. I'm glad that we're still doing that.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Mr Summers. Through you, Madam Mayor. Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Roberts.
Look, again, in the conclusion, it says the tender price submitted by Hardings Group for the provision of bitumen surfacing services is the lowest cost option to council, and it is recommended that contract 849 be awarded accordingly. Now, Hardings has done some great work for us. You know, like with any contractor, not Hardings themselves, just any in general, it can be up and down, can it not, Councillor Bram? So, but I do truly believe Hardings has done some great work for this council and done some great work in this community. Hardings employs local people in this community, and we're very happy that Hardings is doing this work. So, like the rest of it, I'm sure it'll be highest quality, and they just continue to produce for our council, and we're very grateful to them as well for their skill and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Are there any speakers against the motion? Are there any speakers for the motion?
Yeah, I'll just speak for it very briefly. Yeah, quite funny this is on here, really. Well, it's not. I guess when we was having a cup of tea before the meeting, we got onto crumb rubber. We got onto cracks in bitumen, and our engineer told us that crumb rubber is wearing well. There's probably less cracking because it's got more flex in it. And it's getting rid of the tyres. So I support it.
Beautiful. If there's no more speakers, I will put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Carried unanimously. 10.17, financial report for the period ended 31st of May 2026. There's a recommendation there that council notes the financial report for the period ended 31st of May 2026. Councillor Roberts moved. Could I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, second.
Councillor Courtney. Councillor Roberts.
Look, I've already pumped up Mr Smith's tyres tonight, so I just want to say, again, thank you very much. I can't credit enough, it's genuine. And thanks for what you share in private too, in the workshops and such. It's a very knowledgeable man you are, Mr Smith, and very grateful to learn from you as well, so thank you.
Councillor Courtney, would you like to talk to the motion?
No, because I'll just praise Mr Mitchell as well. I'm glad that we have him at council. I'm glad that Shane hasn't tried to steal him, and if he has, he hasn't got him.
We've got to be able to afford him, so don't give him too much credit.
Any other speakers against the motion? Any speakers for the motion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Passed unanimously. 10.18, we've got the senior management report. We've got a recommendation there that council notes the senior management report. Could I have a mover?
Move.
Councillor Roberts, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to that motion?
Look, no, I say the same thing every time, so I'll sort of skip over it, but we're very blessed to have the senior management that we do have, and you know, people might think, you know, a couple of times I've said that we've seen things. Of course we're doing workshop, right? But just so people know, the information that we know, that we receive, are in these reports, so they can know what your local councillors know as well if they read these reports. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Councillor Roberts. Councillor Johnson, would you like to speak to the motion? Any speakers against? Any speakers for? Councillor Courtney, yes.
I noticed in there that the public interest disclosure motion that we put through is in there. Just wondering whether we could get feedback from the Ombudsman as to whether they're going to put out for public consultation on the whistleblower review.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, it's my understanding that there will be a consultation period and that feedback is welcomed from stakeholders and the public.
Can we sorry, through you, can we confirm that they're actually going to advertise that to the public? Because often our state departments, you know, say they're doing a public consultation, but if you don't tell the public they're doing a public consultation, the public don't know. So I'd love to know so that I could share that in whistleblower groups and other, so that we actually do get a fair community consultation as part of that process.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, I'll follow that up.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And if I may also, through you, Deputy Mayor, before you put that to the vote on page 141, which talks about the Legat annual conference, we did have a late expression of interest from Councillor Johnson to attend, which bumps the cost up to 6,000 and something, 6,200. So I just want to note that Councillor Johnson should be added to that list.
Are there, who did we have? Councillor Courtney. Any other speakers against? Any for? Councillor Roberts, did you need to close?
Look, no, I'm absolutely fine with where we're at.
Yep.
And good on Councillor Johnson for stepping up and attending. I appreciate it.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. And now we'll move on to 10.19, minutes of other bodies. So 10.19.1, we've got minutes of other bodies, committees. We've got the SEEP group, which is the Sustainability and Environmental Advisory Panel, held the 28th of April 2026. There's a recommendation there that council note the unconfirmed minutes of the Sustainability and Environmental Advisory Panel meeting held on the 28th of April 2026. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Roberts, a seconder. Johnson. Councillor Roberts, would you like to speak to that?
Look, I just love what this group does, I really do. And it's a great credit to yourself and Councillor Courtney and the members of that group and the staff, Dana Hicks as well. You all do a tremendous job on that group, and long may it continue. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Councillor Johnson, no. Any speakers against? Any speakers for? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. So we've got 10.19.2. We've got the minutes of the Waratah Community Board meeting held June 4th, 2026. We've got a recommendation there that council receives. The notes of the Waratah Community Board meeting held on the 4th of June 2026. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move that.
Councillor Highland,
I'll second
a second. Roberts. Councillor Highland, would you like to speak to that?
No, I haven't got any comments. No, thank you.
Councillor Roberts? No.
Again, credit to the work being done down there.
Any speakers against? Any speakers for? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. So, was that right? Yep. 11.0, matters proposed for consideration in the closed meeting. We've got a recommendation there that the council resolves by an absolute majority that the matters listed below be considered in closed meeting.
So moved.
Councillor Roberts. Courtney. Yep. All those in favour, don't need a debate, do we? All those in favour, please say aye. Carried unanimously. Right. Yep, go over here. So 12, closure of meeting to the public. We've got a recommendation there that council resolves by an absolute majority that to go into a closed meeting to consider the following matters at 8:14.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor
Second.
Roberts, second by Johnson. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Closed unanimously.